I understand your position, but we have a right to access the lake through this gate. We need you to remove the lock.
The chain on my lake dock gate was new and shiny, and there was frost on the metal when I grabbed it and realized it was padlocked shut. Cold air bit my fingers, my coffee steamed in the dark, and my kayak bobbed on the other side of the fence like it was laughing at me. It was May 3, 2024, about 6:15 a.m., and there on the gate was a neon orange sign from our HOA that said my access was suspended for unpaid dues. From 2009. I actually laughed, then I saw the second note taped over it. Any attempt to enter will be treated as trespassing. My laugh stopped real fast. I stood there in the quiet, listening to ducks and the hum of a distant truck, trying to understand how I owed anything from 2009 when I didn't even live here then. By 8:00 a.m. I was in front of the HOA office, door glass still fogged from the night. The president, classic Karen haircut and all, met me in the lobby with her arms crossed. She said I was behind on years of dues and the board had finally decided to get tough. I told her this whole thing was insane. I told her, HOA padlocked my lake dock gate for unpaid dues from 2009 and they had no idea I am their landlord. She rolled her eyes like I had just told a dad joke that wasn't funny. I tried to reason with them. I asked for the ledger. I asked for proof. The board sat behind a folding table like a fake court, shuffling papers and not meeting my eyes. One guy looked at me, then at Karen, and his face went pale like he was scared to be seen talking to me. Karen said, "You access common property only if you are in good standing. Period." When I mentioned that I had never missed a payment since I moved in, she cut me off. She said there were old balances, late fees, and legal costs. She said, "If you keep pushing, we will involve law enforcement again." That word again hit hard. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. She had called the cops on me for walking my dog near the lake that morning. They showed up, shrugged, and left. Now it all clicked. I walked out shaking, half from anger and half from cold. That gate was my line in the sand. I wasn't going to cut the lock or do anything dumb. I told myself I would use the proper channels only. So I went home, made a big mug of coffee, and pulled out everything I had. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I remembered something my grandpa left me when he died, a weird note about a strip of land by the lake and a lease that paid pennies. I drove down to the county records office, the place with old paper and older carpet. When the clerk brought out the folder, the file landed with 63 pages on the counter. Right there it showed a skinny slice of shoreline, including the dock footing, owned by my grandpa, now by me. The HOA paid ground rent for it every year through a management company. Under state law, an HOA cannot block an owner's legal access to his own property. It got better. Buried in the lease was a line that said the landlord, me, retained full access rights through the dock gate at all times. If the HOA interfered, the lease could be cancelled and the structure ordered removed. I took copies of everything. I called a lawyer my cousin knew who loved this kind of petty mess. He cackled when he read it. We filed a formal complaint with the city about unsafe blocking of access and a violation of the lease. We added a note about the cop calls. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. My lawyer helped me send the HOA a letter as their landlord. They had 10 days to remove any locks that blocked my access or would ask the court to terminate the lease and tear down their precious dock. Those 10 days were quiet, but the neighborhood wasn't. Neighbors started texting me, asking what was going on, why Karen told them not to talk to me. I sent them screenshots of the lease pages. Word spread fast. By day 10, the city lake inspector, my lawyer, and a county sheriff all showed up down by the dock at 9:00 p.m., flashlights sweeping over the water. The board was there too, in their little jackets, trying to look important. A couple of teenagers on the hill had their phones out, already filming. The inspector asked who put the padlock on a gate that crossed private access listed in county records. Karen said, "We own this dock." The inspector held up the lease and said, "No, you rent it from him." Every head turned to me at the same time. You could see the exact moment Karen realized it. Her lips moved as she read my name on the landlord line. The neighbors gasped and started whispering. One guy actually laughed out loud. The sheriff said the lock had to come off tonight. He told them that under the lease and the law, they had no right to block me, and if they kept calling the cops on me without cause, it would be a problem. A little cheer went up from the hill. One kid yelled, "Landlord plot twist." The inspector said the HOA had 48 hours to show a plan or risk losing permission to use the dock at all. Phones were recording every second. Karen's face went red then white. She fumbled with her keys and finally unlocked the gate herself while everyone watched. By the next morning, the video was all over our community Facebook group and then beyond. People in other states were commenting. Some called it Dockgate. Others counted how many times Karen looked at the camera like she wanted to dive into the lake and disappear. My inbox filled with neighbors saying they were sorry they believed the rumors about me. Even the quiet guy next door came over with donuts and said, "I knew something was off when she told us to avoid you." The HOA held an emergency meeting 3 days later. This time, I sat in the front row. Karen tried to blame the management company. The treasurer pulled out bank records showing rent payments to me. He said softly that she never bothered to read the lease. A month later, the fallout hit. The city fined the HOA for blocking lawful access and for the unsafe gate. Their insurance company got involved and was not happy. In a closed meeting, members voted Karen out as president and then off the board. She kept her house, but she lost her little throne. The police added notes to their system about the false calls. If she tried that again, it would not end with just a shrug. The board had to send a written apology to me and to every homeowner for the harassment and the lies. The best part was one new rule they passed at the same meeting: any future legal action had to be reviewed by an outside attorney, not just Karen on a power trip. The dock is peaceful now. The padlock is gone. The gate swings open when I walk down with my kayak, and the only sound is the water tapping the posts and kids laughing in the distance. I kept the neon orange notice as a bookmark, a little reminder that knowing your rights can be better than any bolt cutter. Sometimes I sit on the end of the dock at sunset with my neighbors. We talk about fishing, not fines. One older lady who used to stare at me like I was trouble brought me a plate of brownies and said, "I'm glad you didn't move away." I just smiled and told her, "Me too." Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.